The summer of box office successes. Now we're gonna be into the month of darkness. The problem with the modern box office, as I said this many times, is the box office people refuse to watch non-franchise movies. Okay, and guess what? The only type of movie you're getting. Okay, of course, the non-franchise movies. Of course, non-franchise movies have proven to be successful, to be able to make money. The Lost City has become a profitable movie. Everything Everywhere All at Once made a couple million, tens of million dollars. But that's it. Only a couple of tens of million dollars. Not to the huge profits like movies like Top Gun, Minions have made at the box office, or Doctor Strange, or even Four of Them Thunder may and but for example, well, Crawdad saying only make like $60 million or something like $30 million or something like that. But yeah, the number one movie of the week is Dragon Ball Superhero. Where it's number one movie of the week is Dragon Ball Superhero. It's made $42 million. Also, to say $8 million, but again that must include the non-US numbers as well, because this movie released outside of Japan for the first time in the US, the UK, and other countries, and the movie has apparently turned a profit. Because somehow I found out the movie had costed around $12 million to make. Which again, this movie probably has better animation than a lot of, animated movies typically do, and this movie costed the fraction of most of those movies. Not to dunk on other animated movies, but this movie has better animation than movies of $80 to $70 million budgets. It's like the bad guys or DC we give super pets. Again, we are comparing 2D animation versus 3D animation. It is pretty good for a 2D animated movie. Of course, Dragon Ball is extremely popular, but a 2D animated movie that is a limited release is based, though, as well to do this well at the box office. It did release in 3,000 plus theaters as well, so it isn't really a limited release. But the movie still did pretty well for its audience as well. So Dragon Ball Superhero, I think will probably make around $40 million domestically, similar to how Broly probably actually might make more money than Broly domestically at the box office. Yes. As these movies continue to as anime movies continue to become more popular. As we have Demon Slayer, doing extremely well, the Jujutsu Kaisen doing extremely well. So Dragon Ball Superhero does pretty well. Next we have the box office flop called Beast. No one is watching this movie, to no one's surprise. This movie might have legs at the box office, but again, no one is watching this movie. This movie needs to make about $90 million to break even, and this movie has only made $21 million so far. So this movie is going to be a fight for profitability, which I don't think it will make that much money. It will probably make around $40 million, like The Northman has. Again, this movie is not a part of a franchise, which is the main reason why it's not doing too well. I don't know if this movie got well received or not. I'll go. Okay, it has a 68% on Tomatoes and 5.9 on IMDb. Not bad, not that badly reviewed, but it's not really that good. So yeah, the reviews aren't really helping. Again, this movie had the same score as Sonic 2. But I think the difference between this and Sonic 2 is Sonic, people know who Sonic 2. This is just a generic Idris Elba movie. So yeah, we're not gonna be having a Beast franchise anytime soon. Cause I bet they're just trying to set up a franchise of Beast. I think they were probably going to, and then we have Beast 2 and then Beast 3. But they spent too much money on this movie. This movie has a $36 million budget, which means this movie needs to make around $90 million to break even. So this movie needs to make around $90 million to break even at the box office, which is going to be a very tough thing to do. So yeah, they were probably expecting this movie, hey, they have all these sock movies they have made, let's make a movie about animals on land, and no one watches it, basically. And this movie came out in the 90s or 80s, this movie Beast will probably made hundreds of millions of dollars, but we don't live in the 90s and 80s anymore. Okay, movies like Beast do not work in modern day box office. Movies have to be, most of the big movies now are part of a franchise, was the unfortunate fact with this next movie. A lot of people said this movie is really good. Actually, they have updated the international box office for this movie to have $449 million. But this movie still needs to make around This movie still needs to make $65 million more worldwide to break even. Again, there are no major releases coming out. This is like the last major release, but again, Bullet Train is not making money, not because the movie, of course, the critics hate this movie, which is to no one's surprise, but nobody cares what the critics think, but there's still a lot of people who still give a fuck of what Rotten Tomatoes thinks. And this is the problem. There are still people who care what Rotten Tomatoes thinks. Okay, Rotten Tomatoes said that Sonic was not a good movie. Okay, they gave it a 68%. They gave the second one movie, but they gave the first movie like a negative. They were giving the second movie before the movie came out as negative score, whereas according to them is a subpar 60 score, below 60. But they also gave this movie a bad score, which is stupid. Okay, but they'll give crappy movies that are made by Disney like Encanto a 90% or Turning Red a 90%. Yeah, there's totally no Disney bias for Rotten Tomatoes. Totally no Disney bias with Rotten Tomatoes. Next is Top Gun. This movie might even make $700 million domestically. Well, domestically again, they're probably going to keep this movie in theaters as long as possible because of how much money this movie is making. It's only dropping 17%, 16%. This movie will probably pass $1 billion, 4.1. Actually, it won't pass $1.4 billion worldwide. So this movie has passed $1.4 billion worldwide. It will probably continue. It might even pass. Will it pass $1.5 billion? I think it's pretty unlikely. But it might if it continues having these good rigs. So that means this movie has passed the $1.4 billion mark. I do not think Avatar 2 even might not even pass $1 billion. Its fan base might show up on the first weekend, but I don't think it will have that great of rigs. Unless Shazam gets delayed, then maybe Avatar 2 might make a huge ton of money. I don't think Avatar 2 is as well liked as Disney thinks Avatar is well liked. Next is DC League of Super Pets. Again, they have not really I don't think they have updated the international sales for this movie. Actually, they have, and this movie is at negative $95 million. Yeah, this movie is doing abysmally. This movie caught the same as The Bad Guys, but unlike The Bad Guys, it isn't really doing too well worldwide. Again, it's the irony here, because The Bad Guys is not part of a franchise, but DC League of Super Pets is. And this movie has actually lost more money than Bullet Train has, which is another big L for DC League of Super Pets as well. So DC League of Super Pets, again, there was no anime movies coming out, so this movie might continue having legs at the box office, which is what we're seeing here. But Minions is also still out in theaters as well. So yeah, Love and Thunder, again, this movie is losing its steam. Nobody likes this movie, basically. I wish it would disappear from everybody's minds forever. But this movie is it's not making much more money. It will probably pass $150 million, but $1 billion is out of the question. Same thing with the next movie, Minions: The Rise of Gru. Oh wait, yeah, we're talking about Minions: The Rise of Gru next. I think I got Notebooks before, but yeah, this movie flopped in China. Again, this is a very impressive number, $843 million. Again, people said, "Oh, it's a family movie. It will flop. It will flop. It's a family movie." Again, this movie is having extremely good rigs internationally. It's having extremely good rigs internationally at the international box office. Despicable Me 3 released in China, and it rigged out to $63 million. This movie is having really, really, really good rigs at the box office. And this movie is expected to make $10 million in China its first week. It will probably make around $20 to $40 million there. It really just depends on how much more money it can make outside of America. How much more money it can make outside of America. How much better the rigs can be for the non-American markets for this movie as well. Because this movie ended up opened with around similar amount to America internationally, and quadrupled, quintupled to 400, almost went up to 500 million, which is almost more than Doctor Strange made internationally, which is pretty hilarious to see. So yeah, I think this movie can continue making money for the next month or so. But yeah, will it make $1 billion? I think that's out of the question then at the box office at this current moment. But this movie has still made a huge chunk of money. And I think Universal is probably happy about Minions making so much money at the box office. Next is Nope. this movie might actually make back its money. This movie has made $143 million. It needs to make another like $170 million. Again, Jordan Peele has spent too much money on this movie. I think is what it really is, because this movie does really well with North America. But this is his worst performing movie. This is his worst performing movie probably ever. And I think it'll probably make around $117 or $118 million at the box office. Yeah, this is his worst performing movie ever. Again, the international box office is not really showing that much for this movie. Again, he spent too much money on this movie. I think if he spent around $30 to $40 million in this movie would have already been making bank and profit at the box office. So yeah, this movie, he spent a little too much money on this movie. Next is Road to Crawdad Sing. Again, this movie has made $97 million at the box office. This movie has been a surprise hit. People have been saying, basically, yeah, for a movie that is not a part of a franchise, it has been a surprise hit in America. Internationally, nobody cares about this movie, so yeah. Next is Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Again, another movie that really nobody cares about. It's not a part of a franchise. It's an independent movie. But it seems that it's doing well enough that it's going to make a decent chunk of money. But I don't know how much this movie cost as well. So yeah, next is Elvis. I actually didn't update Elvis and Elvis. Yeah, it's a $269 million. So yeah, this movie made a huge chunk of money at the box office. Yeah. This movie did extremely well. Orphan First Kill, I don't think anyone cares about that movie. It's made by Paramount, and I don't think many people are really buying it. But it is a movie that they released in theaters, but they also released on Paramount as well, the streaming service as well. So yeah, Fall, no one's watching. It's another Lionsgate failure. Lionsgate is just really known for box office failures, and really no one is watching this movie, basically. No one is watching this movie at the box office. Easter Sunday, another box office failure. I don't know how much this movie cost to make, but it's probably around $20 to $40 million, which means this movie probably is obviously a box office failure. But yeah, I'm not tracking movies like Easter Sunday and Fall. I bet there are people who do. I bet there was a channel that does, but yeah, I'm not tracking either of those movies. And we're gonna go over Black Phone as well. This movie has done extremely well. I don't think we're going to talk about Black Phone anymore, but yeah, pretty well for Universal. Same thing with Jurassic World Dominion, which has made yet another $10 million worldwide. Which, yeah, this movie might make $1 billion. This movie will probably fall, but again, it really depends on, the numbers. It might make it really close. But if Universal sees that the movie's nearly $1 billion, they're going to re-release this movie around Labor Day. And it'll pass $1 billion. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna re-release this movie on Labor Day, and they're gonna make so this movie makes $1 billion. That's what I'm thinking they're gonna do. They're gonna release this in like 2,000 more theaters on Labor Day, and they're gonna try to make $1 billion with this movie. Because I think that's what they're gonna do. It's gonna make very, very close, and then it's gonna make another $1 to $2 million in America, and re-release it in like several international markets and make another $4 million. And say, oh, made $1 billion, and then it make $1 billion. So yeah, I think this movie could make $1 billion if they pull that thing with Labor Day, because they could really do that because there's no movies coming out on Labor Day. So yeah, that is about the box office. Again, nothing really that interesting. Again, we're at the. I don't understand why they always do this. They never release any movies throughout September. They started to pull up September momentum with the It movies, but really outside of the It movies, they haven't really tried to do anything in September. And then we know movies could do well in September and November. Not November, September and October, because Joker did really well. The It movies did really well. Okay, you can release movies in those months that are not the same Halloween movies and the same generic horror movies every year. The same Halloween movies that watch this horror movie coming out so you can watch it on Halloween. Okay, it's Joker and the movie It. I know It is a horror movie, but both of those movies prove that those months can read the box office successes. It says at the box office. So yeah, that's it. And yeah, for some reason they re-released E.T. in the theaters. Yeah. Also, everything everyone wants is somehow still in theaters in Lightyear, but no one is. I don't think anyone gives a crap about Lightyear. This movie is a box office failure. Okay, 208. Lightyear has only made $218 million. That's abysmal. This is abysmal numbers for Lightyear. Yeah, that's basically what this video. Goodbye.